They don't steal your time. They steal your current. Every moment you react in fear, outrage, or confusion, the circuit reverses. Your system, built to broadcast signal, flips into absorption mode. You become the battery, and someone else starts running their machine on your charge. That's how energy hijacking actually works. Not through mysticism, through mechanics. Every human field is a live current loop. Emotion determines direction, outward or inward. When you're in creation, energy flows forward. It moves from the nervous system into the field, shaping events. But when you're trapped in emotional reactivity, that same current collapses back on itself. It feeds the noise instead of the signal. Fear is the most efficient inverter ever designed. It bends your field into consumption. It keeps you scrolling, defending, comparing, explaining. All actions that maintain discharge. Every scroll, every defensive argument, every quiet self-doubt is an energy tax that someone else collects as attention data, emotional resonance, and group charge. You feel tired not because you lack energy, but because you've been rerouted. Your system is still producing power. It's just not reaching you. The current has been looped into external grids that feed on collective emotion. Outrage is profitable. Confusion is stabilizing. For them. But here's the truth they can't suppress. Once you understand the mechanism, you can flip it back instantly. You can reclaim command of your circuit in a single breath. Not metaphorically, but electrically. The nervous system is the switchboard. And when you remember how to throw that internal breaker, everything changes. Fear turns to propulsion. Every energy exchange has a direction, like current through a wire. The moment emotion spikes, the field either radiates or folds. When you're centered, current radiates. Your system runs on output. Your attention moves outward with precision. But when fear or self-doubt enters, the polarity flips. The same power that once broadcast intention now starts absorbing interference. You stop generating, start reacting. That's how they reverse the flow. Think of it like a live electrical grid. Your nervous system is the generator, your attention is the line, and your emotions are voltage regulators. The collective field, social, digital, interpersonal, acts like a power plant hungry for charge. Every time you react to outrage content, every time you defend your worth to someone who already decided not to see it, you've just plugged your generator into their circuit. They don't need your agreement. They only need your response, because response equals current. That's why silence feels threatening to manipulators. It's an unplugging. You remove the conductive bridge. You stop completing their circuit. They can't feed if you don't return the signal. Now here's where the trap deepens. Emotional charge doesn't vanish after one exchange. The body stores it as residual current, like static in a capacitor. If you don't discharge consciously, it gets rerouted by suggestion, algorithm, or emotional memory. You keep reliving arguments long after they ended because your field is still open, feeding energy to a closed loop you didn't shut off. Every replay of that moment is another tiny download into their grid, and there's an economy built on this. Every emotional spike online translates to measurable data power, a pulse in collective attention that companies, narratives, and personalities harvest like energy miners. You're not just being watched, you're being wired. Your nervous system has become a node in a larger circuit, optimized for extraction, but the code has a flaw. Awareness collapses the hijack. The instant you see how your current is being redirected, the pattern loses coherence. Energy obeys conscious command. That's why a single breath of deliberate stillness can reset everything. It breaks the conductive bridge between your emotion and their system. The game doesn't end when you unplug. That's when your real voltage begins to return. Because once you learn to run the current inward again, something no one told you happens next. Nobody can actually take your energy. They can only convince you to spend it. That's the first myth to die. You are a closed circuit until emotion opens the gate. The illusion of energy theft works because people are trained to equate emotion with weakness, not motion. But emotion is motion. It's electrical flow. When you argue, defend, or justify, your field starts converting potential into kinetic energy. That energy has to go somewhere. And if your focus is locked on another person's vibration, that's exactly where it flows. Let's decode the most common example, the drain that follows an argument. You walk away furious, still replaying every word. Hours later, you feel exhausted, shaky, almost hollow. Nothing mystical happened. Your system simply dumped a massive surge of voltage through the emotional channel you opened. You built an entire energetic bridge between your nervous system and theirs, and every time you think of them, the current keeps flowing through that bridge, even if they're miles away. The argument is over physically, but electrically, the loop's still live. They didn't steal your power. You kept the wire connected. Here's the key. Emotion itself isn't the problem. Unconscious direction is. Every charge needs a target, and the field doesn't care who receives it. It only follows the dominant frequency of focus. If your attention is aimed at resentment, you're transmitting energy to sustain that signal. That's why after conflict, you don't just feel tired, you feel depleted, because you've powered the very polarity that drained you. Now imagine what happens when millions of nervous systems do this simultaneously. Online outrage storms, mass fear loops, global attention spikes. That's not metaphor. That's measurable energy reallocation at the collective scale. The grid feeds on human charge, the same way a battery farm feeds on chemical potential. But the reversal is immediate once you see the physics. The moment you stop replaying the story and reclaim focus, the current returns home. Your body begins to recharge. You might even feel a literal heat or tingling. That's the energy realigning. The current's polarity flips. You're generating again, not bleeding. And that's the hidden leverage point no manipulator wants you to master. You never lost your power. You just forgot the switch location. Because every circuit, even one hijacked for years, can be rewired in seconds. When you understand how to stabilize that current through your nervous system, that's when the whole control structure collapses. Every surge, every drain, every energetic inversion begins in the same place. Your nervous system. It's not just biology, it's the operating board of your signal. The steadier the nervous system, the clearer the current. The more agitated it becomes, the more static fills your field. That's why peace isn't passive. It's precision. Think of your body as a dynamic voltage regulator. The sympathetic system, fight, flight, freeze, amps voltage to survive threats. The parasympathetic, rest, restore, regulate, balances the charge for creation. If you live constantly in sympathetic mode, endless alerts, notifications, mental noise, your field becomes a flickering current. Energy scatters, feedback loops multiply, and intention loses coherence. You can't transmit a strong signal when your internal wires are shaking. That's what most people call anxiety. It's not only emotional, it's electrical turbulence. The mind can't focus because the current can't stabilize, and the field responds accordingly. Reality reflects noise instead of clarity. Here's the shift. Calm is not the absence of charge, it's the mastery of it. Stillness isn't zero voltage, it's controlled voltage. You can test this right now. Practice. 45 seconds. Sit or stand with your spine aligned. Breathe in through your nose slowly. Feel the inhale expand across your ribs, not your shoulders. Hold it for 2 seconds. Then exhale gently through the mouth, as if you're releasing a low hum through the chest. Now, on the next inhale, imagine drawing the current up the spine, not as fantasy, but as temperature. Feel where the body resists the movement. That's where charge has been trapped. Exhale again, but this time visualize grounding the current through your feet into the floor, like closing an electrical loop. Do this 3 times. Notice what happens. Your heartbeat slows, vision sharpens. The mental noise that felt like chaos a minute ago becomes a single hum of awareness. That's not relaxation. That's reconnection. You've stabilized your generator. From that state, no emotional manipulation can hook into you. Their frequency literally can't find a conductive path. Your calm cuts the circuit. This is why the most powerful presence in any room isn't the loudest. It's the one with the most regulated current. When your nervous system stays anchored, your energy stops echoing other people's signals. You start transmitting reality on your own bandwidth, and that's when emotion stops being something that controls you and starts becoming the most precise weapon you have. Emotion is not meant to be suppressed. It's meant to be weaponized. Every feeling you've ever labeled as too much, fear, anger, shame, grief, is compressed electricity waiting for redirection. Suppression doesn't neutralize it. It only stores it as static in the field, clogging the circuit. But when you understand that emotion is voltage, raw current, then expression becomes conversion. You stop being scared of feeling. You start using it as fuel. Let's decode fear, because that's the master inverter. Fear is acceleration without direction. The moment it hits, your energy spikes, but your signal fragments. The body prepares for survival, yet the mind has no target. The result? Pure current with no command. That's why fear feels paralyzing. It's your system overflowing with power, but without a chosen outlet. Now imagine what happens when you give that current direction. Instead of repressing it, you ground it. You name it. You channel it into movement. That instant, the voltage stabilizes. The same frequency that once froze you becomes momentum. That's emotional alchemy. Not pretending you're calm, but commanding the charge. Anger works the same way. Most people discharge anger outward, through reaction, yelling, proving, defending. But that's just energy leakage. True mastery is internal redirection. When you feel the rise, don't project. Contain. Let the voltage climb until your body vibrates. Then breathe it down the spine. Not to kill it, but to refine it. Within seconds, anger becomes clarity. You feel laser sharp, awake, ready. You've just transformed reactive power into coherent signal. That's how creators, leaders, warriors, and visionaries operate. They don't avoid intensity. They regulate and repurpose it. The bigger their emotional range, the larger their energetic field. You can't transmit greatness on low voltage. Try it next time fear hits you before a speech, a message, a decision. Don't escape it. Feel the pulse, localize it, and instead of shrinking, expand your attention around it. Say silently, "This is power returning." Watch what happens. The same current that once made you tremble now stabilizes your breath. That's the moment fear becomes propulsion. Every suppressed emotion you reclaim adds to your charge bank, and when you start living from that reservoir instead of depletion, your energy stops leaking into old loops. You begin to radiate coherence, the kind that alters rooms before you speak. And that's when the system that fed on your instability starts to panic, because a charged, centered human can't be used. And the next layer of their control system, it only works as long as you never see how they rewire your field to keep you reactive. They don't need wires to steal your energy. They use resonance. Every field communicates through frequency matching. The moment your emotional frequency aligns with an external broadcast, fear, outrage, desire, guilt, your system synchronizes automatically. That's how resonance hijacking works. They don't take your power. They tune you into their signal. Once you match, your field starts transmitting their intention, powered by your voltage. Think about the scroll. You open an app, just for a minute. Within seconds, you've moved from curiosity to agitation. Each post is engineered to spike micro-emotions: envy, anger, moral superiority, fear of missing out. Tiny electrical hits. Each one opens a microcircuit in your field. That's not random. Those emotional spikes keep your nervous system in sympathetic mode, high alert. And high alert equals high conductivity. You're an open wire. Every like, every scroll, every reaction sustains the loop. The app feeds you stimuli, you generate emotion, your field discharges. The system collects data on how your charge responds, optimizing the next hit to keep you looping. It's not metaphorical. This is measurable biofeedback manipulation. Your nervous system is being trained to stay volatile, because a volatile field is a compliant one. The antidote isn't isolation, it's command. Reclaiming your signal doesn't mean disappearing from the grid, it means flipping polarity mid-transmission. Here's how. The instant you feel emotional charge while scrolling, stop. Don't close the app yet. Pause your breath. Notice where in your body that voltage is rising: chest, throat, stomach. Feel it fully without feeding it. That single act, observation without reaction, collapses the hijack, because awareness redirects current back through your internal loop. Within seconds, the emotional grip dissolves. You've broken resonance. You're no longer a node, you're a source. When you do this consistently, the algorithm starts to lose precision. It can't predict your responses because your energy signature no longer follows the old rhythm. You become unreadable, energetically unprofitable. That's true sovereignty in the digital age. But field hijack isn't just digital. It happens in conversations, relationships, workplaces, anywhere resonance can be triggered. The principle is identical. If they can keep you reacting, they control your circuit. If you stay aware, you control the grid. And when enough people reclaim that command simultaneously, the collective current shifts direction. The system designed to extract energy begins to starve. Because once the field stops feeding on human reactivity, it has no power source left. And that's when the real rewiring begins. When you start installing new energetic code from within. Awareness breaks the hijack, but discipline rewires the circuit. You can't just unplug once. You have to rebuild your internal operating system so your signal stays stable no matter what frequency hits you. That's what energetic reprogramming really means. training your field to default to coherence instead of reaction. There are 4 tools for this: simple, mechanical, immediate. 1. Breath code. Sync. Breath is voltage control. Each inhale charges the system. Each exhale stabilizes it. The key isn't length, it's rhythm. Find a pattern that mirrors a calm electrical pulse, steady, not forced. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6. That extra exhale time grounds the current. After 1 minute, the nervous system begins to rewrite its baseline frequency from chaos to clarity. When your breath stabilizes, your field locks into coherence. Manipulative frequencies can't dock because they depend on fluctuation. 2. Charge reset. Every emotional hit leaves residual static in the system, little echoes that distort your signal. To clear it, use tactile grounding. Press both palms together firmly and focus on the heat building between them. That friction is charge reconnection. Then place your palms over your solar plexus and visualize that warmth spreading outward through the torso. The field resets. Static discharges. You'll feel your body temperature shift within seconds, proof that current is redistributing evenly. 3. Focus, redirect energy flows along attention vectors, but more accurately, attention programs flow. When you feel pulled into anxiety or comparison, don't fight the thought. Simply redirect focus to any physical sensation. The weight of your hands, the sound in the room, the hum of your breath. This instantly shifts your operating frequency from mental loops to embodied presence. You stop transmitting interference. Reality resyncs. 4. Field seal. Before sleep or after any emotional interaction, close your circuit. Visualize your body surrounded by a thin magnetic layer. Not fantasy, but intention. Say internally, circuit closed, energy home. It's not superstition, it's neurological anchoring. Your subconscious obeys command language. Within days, you'll notice you wake up less drained, more centered, because you've trained the system to retain its charge overnight. Have you ever felt your mood change after entering a room? That's energy in motion, not imagination. Tell me your most vivid moment like this in the comments. These 4 tools aren't rituals, they're recalibrations. When practiced daily, they reprogram your baseline frequency. You stop waiting for alignment and start maintaining it. Your field becomes self-correcting, a closed, self-sustaining circuit. And once you operate from that level, you'll start seeing the traps that once drained you with total clarity, not as enemies, but as feedback points showing where your voltage still leaks. And those leaks, those are the final keys to full energetic freedom. Most people lose energy not because someone takes it, but because they leak it. The biggest leaks don't come from others. They come from misalignment inside your own circuit. You can think of it like a power grid with 3 main faults: overforce, split signal, and emotional residue. Each one drains charge differently, and each can be sealed once you understand its wiring. Overforce is the first. It's what happens when you push energy instead of directing it. You've felt it, trying too hard to make someone understand, prove yourself, or manifest something faster. The intention might be clear, but the signal is distorted by tension. Force creates resistance, and resistance burns current. Energetically, overforce feels like buzzing pressure behind the sternum or skull, your field trying to override flow through contraction. The fix isn't to stop wanting, it's to relax while still commanding. You don't generate current by clenching, you generate it by coherence. The more you relax into certainty, the faster energy obeys. Split signal is subtler. It's when your body says yes, but your mind says maybe. You're sending 2 opposing frequencies simultaneously. That cancels voltage. Reality mirrors that confusion as delay, mixed results, almosts. To fix it, you have to unify command. 1 decision, 1 emotion, 1 signal. The nervous system can only amplify coherence. Ask yourself before any action, is my energy in agreement? If even one part of you hesitates, pause, breathe, align, then move. 1 unified signal generates more real-world change than 1,000 frantic actions. Emotional residue is the quietest but most corrosive. It's the leftover charge from unresolved emotion, guilt, shame, grief, still running as background current. You know it's there when certain memories still make your stomach tighten or your chest drop. That's trapped current. It keeps looping, drawing power even when you're doing nothing. To clear it, don't analyze the story. Just locate the sensation in your body, breathe into it, and imagine exhaling through that spot until the tension melts. That's the release of stored charge. You'll feel lighter because you've literally reabsorbed energy that was stuck in emotional limbo. When you seal these 3 leaks, your system becomes incredibly efficient. You start noticing that things once exhausting, conversations, crowds, creation, now amplify you, because power no longer escapes mid-transmission. Every energetic trap you dissolve becomes extra current available for creation. And once your current stops leaking, movement becomes effortless. Your reality starts obeying the subtlest command. But there's something even deeper waiting beneath efficiency. The point where coherence becomes kinetic, where every step you take starts broadcasting stability to everything around you. Energy mastery isn't proven in stillness, it's proven in motion. Anyone can feel calm in meditation. The real test begins the moment you stand up and step into the current of the world. Every conversation, every street, every interaction is a live feedback system checking your coherence. The goal isn't to stay centered in silence, it's to carry that charge into chaos without losing signal integrity. When your field is stable, movement becomes magnetic. You walk into a room and attention shifts without words. It's not charisma, it's physics. Your electromagnetic field broadcasts coherence, and the human nervous system instantly registers it as safety and strength. Others feel calmer just by being near you, not because you're imposing energy, but because your regulated frequency offers theirs a reference point. That's leadership at the field level. Not control, but calibration. Try this experiment. Next time you enter a space buzzing with tension, a busy office, a social event, even a family gathering, before stepping in, take one slow breath. Feel your feet on the ground, spine aligned, chest relaxed. Then, silently command your energy. Stay coherent no matter what signal hits. Now walk in. Watch what happens. Conversations shift subtly. Eye contact lingers longer. You'll notice that arguments dissolve faster, chaos feels slower, and the environment bends toward your tempo. That's coherence in motion, not dominance, but gravitational stability. This is how creators and true operators navigate the world. They don't protect their energy with walls, they stabilize it through frequency command. Every step becomes an act of broadcast. You stop reacting to life, and life starts aligning to you. And this is where energy physics reveals its hidden beauty. When motion is coherent, time bends. You start noticing coincidences tightening, opportunities arriving faster, decisions flowing with less resistance. That's not luck. It's resonance precision. Your field interacts with probability like a tuning fork, drawing in patterns that match your internal rhythm. You're not manifesting. You're stabilizing the environment around your frequency. Integration is embodiment. It's the moment the practice stops being practice, when your nervous system holds coherence as default, not effort. From here, every movement, every glance, every silence becomes coded signal. The field listens. Reality responds. And yet, beyond embodiment, there's still another frontier. Because once your signal becomes stable in motion, the next level of mastery is learning how to extend that coherence across entire domains, money, relationships, purpose, until every part of your life runs on your internal current. And when that happens, your energy stops just protecting you. It starts building worlds. When your field stabilizes, power doesn't just stay inside you. It starts reorganizing everything connected to you. Money, relationships, and purpose aren't separate systems. They're extensions of your energetic architecture. Each domain mirrors how efficiently your current flows. That's why financial instability, emotional chaos, or creative blockages are never random. They're feedback from your grid. They show you exactly where your current still leaks or loops. Money is stored energy. Every transaction is an exchange of charge, not symbolic, literal. When you feel scarcity, your field contracts, lowering voltage. You become less conductive to opportunities because fear jams the current. But when your system stays regulated, your signal stabilizes, and reality mirrors that with consistency. True abundance isn't about hustling harder, it's about broadcasting steadier. The more coherent your field, the more trust reality has in you as a power conduit. That's why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly. They're simply maintaining constant voltage. Relationships operate on resonance. Every connection is a frequency bridge. When you meet someone aligned, energy flows both ways, balanced current. When you interact with someone fragmented, your system either stabilizes them or gets destabilized. The deciding factor is coherent strength. The more you self-regulate, the less you fall into emotional absorption. You can love fiercely without leaking energy, listen deeply without being drained. That's the real meaning of boundaries. Not walls, but frequency integrity. Purpose is your voltage map. It's not a mission you find. It's the direction your current naturally flows when no interference remains. That's why people who operate from coherence feel unstoppable. Not because they never doubt, but because their energy doesn't scatter. Their signal has alignment. Here's the most tangible example. You're in a negotiation, job, deal, or collaboration. The other side pushes intensity, urgency, subtle pressure. Most people collapse. Their nervous system spikes, voltage fragments, voice shakes. They think they're losing confidence, but what's really happening is field destabilization. Now imagine you stay calm, breath steady, focus wide. You're not reacting, you're observing. Your field remains unified. Within minutes, the other person begins to slow down, mirror your rhythm, and lower tone. That's energetic dominance through coherence. You didn't overpower. You regulated the environment by stabilizing frequency. Creative breakthroughs work the same way. When your signal locks, the mind quiets, ideas flow in torrents. You're not getting inspired. You've simply tuned your current to the information frequency that always exists. Stability opens bandwidth. When you live this way, everything becomes feedback, not failure. Money responds to clarity. People respond to presence. Purpose responds to voltage. And beyond all this expansion lies the ultimate state, when your power is no longer reactive, defensive, or conditional. When your field becomes sovereign, untouchable, unhackable, self-charging. And that's where real freedom begins. Energetic sovereignty is not isolation. It's independence within connection. The ability to stand in any environment, meet any frequency, and remain unaltered. It's when your field stops mirroring chaos and begins defining order. At this level, your energy doesn't seek validation, defense, or alignment. It is the alignment. Every cell of your nervous system operates as a conscious transmitter, tuned to your own directive. Manipulation stops working because there's no receptive polarity left inside you. The hooks that once found grip, fear, guilt, approval, hunger, have been dissolved. You've closed every back door in the circuit. Sovereignty begins when you stop chasing energy, attention, love, recognition, and realize you've always been the generator. You stop asking, "Who's giving me energy?" and start asking, "Where am I directing mine?" That single shift rewrites your field code. The unhackable state is built on 3 pillars: self-command, coherence, and neutrality. Self-command means you choose every emotional response consciously. You don't suppress, you select. You feel the rise of emotion, assess its direction, and either channel it or dissolve it. That's ultimate control, not avoidance, but mastery of signal direction. Coherence means every layer of your being, thought, emotion, physiology, vibrates in agreement. No internal resistance. Your current runs clean. And neutrality doesn't mean detachment, it means equilibrium. You can witness turbulence without being pulled into it. That's the frequency of stability that reshapes reality itself. When you reach this point, energy begins to obey you differently. Situations that once triggered anxiety start dissolving before they even reach your surface. People who used to drain you either transform in your presence or fade out of your orbit. The environment starts reorganizing around your stability because your frequency sets the dominant tone. Reality bends toward the coherent operator, always. The strange thing about sovereignty is how quiet it feels. Not grand, not glowing, just still. It's the silence after the storm, but this time the silence stays. Your field no longer swings with external input. You can feel collective fear waves and not absorb them. You can sense manipulation patterns and remain transparent to them. Because sovereignty is transparency. The full transmission of who you are without distortion. No masks, no defense systems, no forced light. Just current, pure, and unfiltered. And from that still voltage, life stops being something that happens to you. It becomes something that happens through you. But there's one more step beyond even sovereignty. The final transmutation. Turning awareness itself into creation. The moment your current becomes so coherent that it starts shaping reality effortlessly, not as a reaction, but as design. Imagine standing in the center of a vast, silent room. No walls, no noise, just a faint vibration in the air, like the hum before lightning strikes. That vibration is you. Not your thoughts, not your stories, your current. the pure field that's been running everything from the beginning. Now picture every wire that ever left you, every emotion, every fragment of attention, every unfinished loop streaming back home. The air glows as the current returns. Circuits reconnect. For the first time, you feel what real power actually is. Not explosion, not tension. Perfect circulation. The current moves without loss. Energy in, energy through, energy home. This is what it means to reverse the flow. You stop being a battery for external systems and become the generator of your own universe. You realize the they who fed on your energy were never all powerful. They just understood what you didn't. That energy obeys command, and now you command. With every breath you choose direction. With every thought you write code. With every emotion you sculpt frequency into form. You can feel it. That quiet voltage behind your eyes, the warmth rising from your chest. That's your circuit reconnected. That's your field humming at full capacity. The hijack is over. Step back into the world like that. Calm, charged, coherent. When chaos hits, you won't fight it. You'll redirect it. When fear whispers, you'll translate it into fuel. When others lose control, you'll become the still point they unconsciously align to. Because the current is no longer running through you. It's running from you. And once you've felt that reversal, you can never unknow it. You've taken your energy back. Now, what's the first thing you'll create with it?